Smoke a purse so sweet with HighThoughtsTV.
Y'all know what the fuck we doing, man. It's HighThoughtsTV. Niggas hot in the bitch, man.
I'm smoking a purse so sweet with HighThoughtsTV.
We done had some live convo already, but like a lot of people, I feel like they might, in case they didn't catch that first time we linked up and did an interview, we're gonna take it back now. So let everybody know, you know what I'm saying, who we got here.
For sure. I go by the name of Bleu. I'm from the city, from Houston, Texas, man. I've been doing music for a long time, but it's just been like my career just kind of resulted in a handful of singles, you know? It's been like I drop a record and a bunch of shit will happen in between. I'll end up being like a year that I'm figuring out like if I'm gonna sign, if I'm gonna do this, do another, drop another record, same shit happened. And now I look back and it's been a bunch of years, but it's been a couple of songs. So I'm just at a point where I'm trying to change that. I'm really trying to come back and just leave it all on the table, you know?
Yeah.
This is a guy that I think is not comfortable with sitting with the idea of ever quitting or leaving, knowing that I just didn't put it all out there, knowing that I had a bunch of ideas that for some reason didn't come out. This is my season of leaving it all out there, you know, putting it all out. Everything I want to do, not really doing it to impress anybody or to, you know, sit there and be trying to keep a certain team happy or whatever the situation is. Just really try to take this shit to as high as what I want to do is capable of going. You know,
right.
I'm not trying to force it. I'm not trying to take this. I don't want the maximum heights, bro. I just want to go as far as this shit's supposed to go by just doing the shit that I really want to do. Because I can't say that was always the case. You know, I've been like in situations where I was just chasing something bigger than what I had and sacrificed a lot of my integrity in order to do that. I'm not doing that this time around.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say is the guy that is in front of you right now.
No.
The version of me.
So, like you said, it's been a few years and not a whole lot of songs. Do you feel like over those times, was it just maybe creative doubt? Maybe you were just like over planning, like trying to make the perfect plan as to how, you know what I'm saying, you want to.
No. So for me, bro, like I started out in a group, as you know.
Yeah.
And when I left to do my solo stuff, I initially, like I had my son, bro. I wasn't really thinking of getting right back into it. I had already had a handful of years of kind of doing that and the trials and tribulations. So I was kind of like at a point where I had a love for music. I knew I wanted to do something with music, but I thought maybe I wanted to sit back and write or do something like that. And the first record, I linked up with some crazy producers, some of my homies, and just really was trying to get around that space on that type of time. And the first record we ever did was a song called Me Time. That was like the first record I released as a solo artist. And it ended up being, because it was a song like, I just made it and they were like, bro, this is you. You know, it's not like a placement type of joint, it's just you. Like, you gotta drop it. I'm like, nah, I wasn't trying to do that. No, drop it. Drop it. World Star and everybody had picked it up at the time where that shit was, you know, actually moving the needle. And then Eric Bellinger in 24 Hours, I got on the remix and that put me in a whole different situation, like overnight again. Like I was just thinking I was gonna be a writer, drop the first record on some whatever type stuff. All of a sudden, I end up signing a situation. I got a booking agency that I'm with, and I'm in this whole situation overnight. So because of that, like because that song kind of put me in that, a lot of that shit takes a while, and sometimes like while negotiating a certain situation or signing or doing whatever, my boy would just be like, hold off on the music, let's not waste any more records, just wait till this shit get right, and then we'll drop it and do it the right way. And sometimes that shit ends up taking a little bit longer than you expect. You might think it'd be a 2-3 month process, and it might end up taking 9 months to really get everything all the way situated, because sometimes even after you sign, there's more shit that you got to build up to, or more shit, or like certain holdups or certain whatever the situation is. And for me, it was a lot of that. Like, I think I spent a lot of my career trying to find the perfect moment for shit, and just also the vibe of the team that I was with at that time. People felt like there was a lot of value in everything I was doing, because the little shit I would do would just start sparking up. So they didn't want to do nothing without it being like picture perfect, and that shit just really don't exist, bro. So I wasted a lot of time just waiting on that moment when I should have just been kind of gathering the momentum and really just kind of letting the snowball effect happen. Just let it get bigger a little bit at a time, not really having to make it all happen overnight. Just because it happened fast didn't mean I had to take that approach, but I did. And that's kind of what ended up happening. I left one situation, sign to another or whatever the situation. Every time it'd be like I'd leave. No, I'm just gonna do this independently for a little while, and I'll drop something. To Reza Sean would remix it, and then it'd be on the radio, and then independently. And now all of a sudden I'm signed again. So it's just been a bunch of like the way my career panned out. It was a lot of like stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. It just happened to be like the way it's turned out with me trying to search for that perfect situation where everything just kind of clicked. Sometimes you get into something and you realize it doesn't end up being, you know, how you felt at first, or these people's not, you know, whatever the case may be. So I spent a lot of time just kind of like bouncing around trying to find the right vibe, and I think I came back to just over time. Really, it's not even so much me, bro. It's just like times have changed.
Yeah.
The labels aren't making it happen anymore. They're going and getting the kids that already did it. You know, it's just like you got somebody that's good at TikTok. You got somebody that's good. They got the algorithm going. They just going and blasting that. It's not like back in the day where you saw raw talent and you were gonna cut his hair and comb and put him like this and tell him to dress like that and do the.
No more A&Rs.
Artist development don't exist, bro. It's just machines. It's like, oh, this kid going up. Boom, let's get on it. You know. I don't think that you need all that. And that's why, for me, regardless, I'm at a point where I just want to put out, like I said, everything that I really have been wanting to do, all the music I've been wanting to put out that I haven't got the chance to put out. And, yeah, I think I'm just rocking kind of, I'm in a situation, but it's like an indie situation, you know?
Okay, yeah.
So
talk like the pros and the cons versus, like, you know what I'm saying, being in a group situation versus, you know, now you can do all.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest pros of being in a group, bro, to me is the creative space, the friendly competition, like being around people that's pushing you to be better every day, that's inspiring you every day, because, you know, producers cooking up a beat, sending it out, we might have 4 or 5 motherfuckers drop verses on it, and then we'll choose the best 2, you know, and try to like shape every song depending on who really everybody that like the beat gets a shot at going, putting a verse or having an idea, doing whatever, and then we just take off whatever don't really make sense. We leave it, and it just creates this like friendly competition type of space of you know, just wanting to push yourself and always kind of like bouncing back and forth with the elevation. When you're by yourself, it's amazing in ways that you get to tap into like you and be in full control of some like this is a completely different vibe whenever you're creating a whole energy and record by yourself on exactly what you want to do, rather than trying to adapt to 4 or 5 people's medium ground or ideas on it. But at the same time, after a while, like it does get to a point where you kind of sitting around like, have I done this melody before already? Like, just, you know, like am I deep in a rabbit hole of just doing shit that's not even really
what they
cool?
call it, imposter syndrome type shit?
Exactly, because you're just bouncing ideas with yourself, bro. And after a while, you lose track of like what you're trying to do, or what, you know, sometimes even those reactions or feedbacks, or seeing some of the guys freak out on certain shit that you lay, that now you just, obviously you get different people coming in and out, but the environment is different. At the end of the day, the only person that's always there is me. It's not like you sharing that shit with a bunch of other people. And I think it's a good and a bad thing. You know, like I said, it's great because the space you get to tap into is completely different. To be able to just sit there and really just tap into you, not like having to be you, but keeping in count 4 or 5 other people and trying to like find, like I said, just kind of create that middle ground. So there's pros and cons in that aspect for me.